Hi students, do you follow my previous video clip regarding subtopic section 4.1 thermal equilibrium? In today's lesson, I am going to discuss with you SPM format question about the subtopic section 4.1.
The source of the question is come from Chem Square Module 2021. I'm going to discuss Section A, Paper 2 with you all. Let us read the question together. Figure 1 shows an uncalibrated mercury thermometer. State the physical properties of mercury when the temperature rises. As you have watched the video clip of section 4.1, you may know that the working principle of liquid in glass thermometer is based on principle of expansion and contraction of liquid. Therefore, as the temperature rises, the volume of mercury will be increased and causes the length of column in mercury thermometer increase. So that the answer for this question will be increase in volume of mercury. Second question, why is mercury used in a thermometer? There is many factors causes the mercury can be chosen to become a liquid in glass of thermometer. So the first is opaque, can be seen easily, and mercury is also a good heat conductor and not stick to the wall of thermometer. Since there is only one mark for this question, you can choose any one of the answer for this question. B1, the length of mercury column on the thermometer is 2.6 cm at 0 degrees Celsius. So there is a ice point, and 22.6 cm at 100 degrees Celsius is the length of the column at steam point. So what is the difference in the length of mercury column at 0 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius? So for this question is quite easy. We just need to using the highest number, which is the steam point, which is the length of steam point, minus the length of column for ice point, which is 2.6. So the answer is 22.6 minus 2.6 cm, and you get 20 cm. Question for B2. When the thermometer is immersed in a hot oil, the length of mercury column is 16.9 cm. Calculate the temperature of the hot oil. So for this question, we need to apply the formula we learned in section 4.1. So which is L theta minus L naught over L100 minus L naught. So L theta will be the length of the mercury in the hot oil, which is 16.9. And L naught will be the length of the mercury column at 0 degrees Celsius, which is 2.6 cm in question D1 already mentioned. And the L100 is the length of the mercury column on thermometer at steam point, which is 22.6. So we substitute all the value to the formula and we get the answer is 71.5. Since the question is given 2 marks, so the 1 mark will be given in the substitution of all value in the formula, and the another mark will be the answer for the calculation. Question number 2. Diagram 2A and 2B shows two situations that happen in daily life. Diagram 2A shows a hand touching a hot kettle, and diagram 2B shows a hand holding a piece of ice. So both have different temperatures. A, what is the meanings of temperature? Okay, so this is the definition for temperature. So this is the answer. Degree of hotness of an object. Question for B1. Based on diagram 2A and 2B, compare the temperature of both objects. So the object at diagram 2A will be the hot kettle, and the object in diagram 2B will be a piece of ice. Therefore, you may write as the hot kettle has higher temperature than a piece of ice. Or you may using diagram 2A has higher temperature than diagram 2B. So let's see the answer. Kettle is hotter than ice. You may also using the symbol greater than to show that the diagram 2A has greater temperature than 2B, or you can make it in a sentence. So question B2, compare the effect of the heat felt by both hands. So this is only 1 mark. So for 2A, the hand will be feel hot because touching the hotter object. And the diagram 2B, the hand will feel cold as touches a piece of ice. So you may write as hand will sense the hotness when touch the hot kettle, or you can write as hand will sense the coldness when touch the ice. So each of the answer, since the mark given is only 1 mark for B2. Now let's see the question B3. Compare the direction of heat flow. From the previous video clip, section 4.1, you have learned that the heat will flowing from hotter object to colder object. So in figure 2A, hot kettle will be represent hotter object, while hand will be represent colder object. Therefore, in diagram 2A, the heat will flowing from hot kettle to hands, while in diagram 2B, the hands will be represented hotter object, and a piece of ice will be represented as a colder object. Therefore, the heat flowing from hand to a piece of ice. So look at the answer. As mentioned, diagram 2A shows the heat transfer from kettle to hands, while diagram 2B shows the heat transfer from hand to ice. Look at the question before. Relate the direction of heat flow to the temperature difference between object in contact with. So, as mentioned, the heat will be flowing from hotter object to colder object. Okay, so this is the answer. Heat will transfer from hot object to cold object. So now we are going to our last question for today's discussion, which is a question at section B, paper 2. So let us read the question together. Diagram 1, below show a boy who has a fever and his body temperature is measured by using a thermometer. So what is the meanings of thermal equilibrium? So from the previous video, we know that thermal equilibrium means that the net heat transfer will be 0 and both objects will be in same temperature. So the answer for this question you may write as the net rate of heat flow between two objects are 0. Question number 2. Explain the terms of thermal equilibrium. How a thermometer placed under the boy's tongue measure the boy's body temperature. So firstly, you may discuss which object is hotter and another object will be colder in this situation. So in this situation, the body temperature of the boy will be higher compared to thermometer. This is the first you need to discuss. After that, we need to discuss the heat flow will be from hotter object, which is boy's tongue, to thermometer. After that, after some time, both objects will be reach equilibrium. Therefore, they will be have same temperature. And the last point, the net heat flow between two objects will be 0. So total we have 4 marks. Okay, so let's see the first point. Temperature of boy is higher than temperature of thermometer. Second, as I mentioned, you need to write the heat transfer from hotter object to colder object. So here, the boy's body is hotter, so that the heat will be transferred from boy's body to thermometer until the thermal equilibrium is achieved. When the thermal equilibrium achieved, both objects will have same temperature. And then the last, the net heat flow between two objects will be 0. Okay, so no net heat flow between the boy and the thermometer. So you will get 4 marks. Okay, so let's see the question B1 together. Given an uncalibrated alcohol thermometer, the length of alcohol when put in ice and boiling water is 3.5 cm and 13.7 cm respectively. So that means the 3.5 cm represent ice point and the 13.7 cm represent the length of column of mercury at steam point. So when the thermometer is placed in a cup containing warm water, the length of the alcohol is 7.8 cm. So what is the temperature of the warm water? So in this question, we need to apply one of the formula we learned in section 4.1. So there is T equal L theta minus L0 over L100 minus L0. So in this question, the L theta will be 7.8. L0, which is the length of column of mercury thermometer at ice point, that is 3.5 cm, and L100 represent the length of the mercury column at steam point, which is 13.7 cm stated in the question. So substitute all the value in the formula, you get the value of the warm water will be 42.2 degrees Celsius. So since the question given 3 points, the first point will be formula, second will be substitution, and last will be the answer. Question B2. State 2 characteristics of fluid selected in a thermometer. So the fluid selected must be mercury or alcohol. Both of the liquid have higher boiling point. Both also is a good heat conductor, opaque, so that we can see it easily. and others suitable characteristic also. Okay, so since these 2 marks, you have to choose 2 accepted answers. Okay, so as listed, there is good heat conductor, can be seen easily, opaque, high boiling point, expand and contract uniformly when it is being heated, not stick to the wall of capillary tube. Okay, so this is the 10 marks question. So let us read together. Table 1 below shows the characteristic of 4 types of thermometer, W, X, Y, and Z. So you have to choose one of the best thermometer based on the characteristic given. Okay, so 4 of the character is discussed in this question. So first will be the liquid used. You have to choose mercury or alcohol. As we know, both is normally used in the thermometer. Okay, so you have to choose based on the condition given. So where we have to use the thermometer. Second, we have discussed the wall of the glass bar. Third, diameter of capillary tube, and last is a glass rod. So based on the additional information, we know that the freezing point for mercury is -39. Okay, here alcohol is -112. Boiling point for mercury is 360, and the boiling point of alcohol is 78. So you have been appointed as the head of expedition to the North Pole. You are asked to study the characteristic of the thermometer that can be used to measure temperature at the North Pole. Explain the suitability to each feature in the table above and then determine the appropriate thermometer to be used. Explain your answer. Okay, so since you have to measure the temperature at North Pole, so that means the very low temperature we have to measure. Okay, so in this condition, we have to see the freezing point of the liquid. So at here, you can see that the freezing point for mercury is -39, while for alcohol can measure lower temperature compared to mercury. So normally at the North Pole, the temperature is extremely cold, maybe is lower than -50. So that means the mercury is not suitable to use because the mercury might be freeze at North Pole, okay, and become solid and not able to measure any temperature at North Pole. So for the liquid use, you need to choose alcohol. Okay, so you need to choose alcohol because alcohol have a lower freezing point. So the thermometer we have to choose might be Y or Z. So for the second character, discuss about the wall of glass bar. So the wall of glass bar must be thin so that the sensitivity of the thermometer will be increased. So we are quite sure that the answer, the best thermometer choose will be Z. Okay, so let's see the third character, which is regarding the diameter of capillary tube. So the diameter of capillary tube must also narrow or small to increase the sensitivity. And then the last, we have to choose the thick and curved glass rod so that the thermometer will be stronger and not easily broken. Okay, so let's see the solution. Okay, so the first, as I mentioned, the liquid used must be alcohol, which have a lower freezing point. And the second, we choose a thin wall of glass bar to increase the sensitivity. Okay, so you also can write as heat transfer to liquid faster. And the third character, we have to choose the narrow or small diameter of capillary for the same reason, to increase the sensitivity of thermometer. And you may write also to increases in volume of mercury is higher, which means that if there is a changes of temperature, there will be a significant change of the length column of mercury thermometer. The fourth character, we choose the thick and curved grassroot, reason strong and not easily broken. So we are sure that the thermometer choose must be thermometer Z. Okay, and you need to write again all the character again, so you will get full 10 marks. So I hope that you all can understand how to write or what is the technique to answer paper 2 question. Okay, thank you all. Okay, so see you next time.
Thank you for watching. In next video, I am going to discuss with you subtopic section 4.2 specific heat capacity. Stay tuned.